The hardest decision in Dokkan you'll ever have to make. Who should you choose with your hard-earned yellow coins? How's it, everybody? Celtic here. We are back for another Dokkan Battle video. In today's video, we are taking a look at the units who are now available in the Yellow Coin shop as of the Yellow Coin LR AGL Goma's banner. We have the return of both Tien and Pycon on this banner, and the big question is, they are back, and should you spend your hard-earned 500 coins on these two characters? So first and foremost, let's get this out of the way. If you did not pull Goma, it may be in your best interest to hold your 500 coins until he shows up in the shop again. Judging by how quickly they are returning the units on these banner, both Tien and Pycon are already here in the shop, and they are the only other two yellow coins we've received this year, and both have returned near immediately post their release, right? Almost on the next available yellow coin banner. So we can safely assume that whenever the next yellow coin banner is, which will likely be in April of next year, Goma should return with coins. Now, there is a caveat to that. Goma may end up being on one of the anniversary banners in years prior, right? Some of the yellow coin LRs from the prior year were on the anniversary banner, right? Like if we think the year 9 in the part 2 carnival banner with the gammas, we had LR Bulma, who was one of the major LRs from 2023 show up on the carnival banner. Now, year 10 was a little different. This didn't really happen in year 10, but I think that's mostly because year 10's was like more about the thematic of the characters and returning worldwide units and, you know, Dragon Ball themed units as opposed to specific time frame returning units, right? It was more about making sure the EZA characters were on there, etc. But years prior, you like, again, 9th anniversary and before, yellow coin LRs from the year prior usually show up on the anniversary banner. So if you didn't pull Goma during this celebration, then there's a chance you could pull him during the anniversary. If not, you'll be able to use your coins when he returns to the shop, likely sometime in April of next year. So that leaves the question, well, let's say I did pull Goma, or I'm willing to wait till April. Who among the two returning units is worth my 500 coins? Well, let's start by looking at Pycon. He is the first major returner, and he leads Otherworld Warriors or Saviors, category key 3, HP attack defense 200%, greatly raises attack defense for 1 turn, causes colossal damage, and greatly lowers defense. On his ultra super attack, his 18 key, he greatly raises attack and massively raises defense for 1 turn, causing make a colossal damage and greatly lowering enemies' attack. He has key 3 and attack defense 250% with a high chance of evading enemy's attack. Randomly changes key spheres of a certain type, Fizz excluded, to rainbow key spheres. When there's another Otherworld Warriors or tournament participant category ally attacking in the same turn, he gives all allies key 3 and attack defense 40%. As a second attacker in the turn, he gives Otherworld Warriors or tournament participant allies damage reduction rate 10% for 2 turns. Really good ability there. As the second or third attacker in the turn, he guards all attacks, high chance of performing a critical hit, launches an additional attack that has a 50% chance of becoming a super attack, and has an additional 20% chance of evading. When attacking with 18 or more key, he has an additional attack defense 150%. Starting from the 4th turn from the start of battle, he can transform into Mr. Super Serious Pycon, and once in serious mode, he massively raises attack and defense for 1 turn, greatly raises attack and defense for 1 turn on his 18 key, while greatly lowering, or his 12 key rather, while greatly lowering enemies' defense. While in serious mode, he gets key 5, attack defense 300%, guards all attacks, great chance of evading enemies' attacks, great chance of performing a critical hit, and receives an additional key 2 per rainbow key sphere obtained. And to add on to that, to help him out there, he randomly changes key spheres of certain type to rainbow. Before receiving an attack within the turn, he gets key 3 and an additional 10% chance to evade. When attacking, he gets attack and defense 50%, and attack and defense 70% when attacking with 12 or more key. When attacking with 18 or more key, he gets attack and defense 100%, and when attacking with his full 24 key, he gets attack 150%. He has attacks guaranteed to hit, and for every rainbow key sphere obtained, he gets an additional 30% attack with an additional 10% chance to crit. So he really is kind of a... he's a great supporting unit. He's a little squishy in his base form, but he provides some excellent support for the teams that he is on. And then once he changes into serious mode, he develops, you know, quite the offensive capabilities. Now he's only launching maybe 1 or 2 supers, but that's 1 or 2 supers that are hitting anywhere between 70 to 100 mil, depending on the setup. And speaking of setups, right, he is on one of the better teams. In fact, his team, following that of the following GDC, is probably one of the few that survived the power creep that came through. And you may not think that looking at PyCon initially, but thanks to Tau and a lot of the attack and defense lowering that his team provides, along with as well as a lot of the other sort of tech that the team has, right, his team, combined with a few other characters, actually does pretty well in post-GDC content. They did survive the power creep, and if you're willing to invest the time in building a team that centers around him in the AGL PyCon, he is definitely worth it. I will say the caveat to purchasing him is please make sure you have AGL PyCon to make it worth it, and Tau to run him on the team. I can't tell you how fun the combo of Tau, Hit, and PyCon is. It's a really powerful combo in the Rose Monster fight. It's a really fun combo too. So that is our boy PyCon here. So the big question is, what about Tien? This marks Tien's first return, and he was definitely one of the better, if not best, yellow coin LRs to date among his release. He is Final Trump Card or Earthlings, category key 3, HP attack defense 200%. On his 18 key, he's greatly raising attack infinitely, causing mega colossal damage, and lowering attack and defense. While on his 12 key, he'll be raising attack only for 1 turn, causing colossal damage to the enemy and lowering attack and defense. His passive skill has an instant animation, which gives him key 4 up to 8 randomly for the start of turn for 10 turns. His basic effect gives him key 2 and attack defense 250%, and all allies defense 30% for 2 turns. Before receiving an attack within the turn, he has damage reduction rate 75%, and after receiving an attack as the first attacker on the turn, he has defense 400%, damage reduction rate 30%, and key 3, attack 100%, defense 200%, and damage reduction rate 20% for 3 turns. As a second or third attacker in turn, he gets 100% attack, 200% defense, and effective against all types for 4 turns. He also gets an additional 400% attack, 200% defense, and a great chance of evading enemies' attack when attacking. When receiving a Key Blast Super, he has a high chance of nullifying it with tremendous power, and guarantees nullification on characters who are also on the Kamehameha category. He does have an entrance, or not an entrance animation, but a active skill that can be activated. His Tri-Beam, or Kikoho as properly stated, can be activated when there is a Turtle School or Kamehameha category enemy, or on the 5th turn, and it causes ultimate damage and gives him 24 ki for the turn. So he works. He's a slot dependent character. He's an alternating slot dependent character, right? So essentially, on the first turn, you want him in the first slots, where he can get hit and then gain his damage reduction, gain his additional attack and defense to, as well as his increased defense there. Now that is a little risky, especially in fights like the Rosemasu fights. However, if he can survive it, which he usually can on the right setups with the right support, he usually can survive it. And the best part is he can nullify both of their supers with guaranteed, actually, since both of them are technically on the Kamehameha category. He can nullify their supers, which means the supers are not a problem. He just has to live the normals. Then on the second turn, right, his second appearance, he shifts into the second or third slot, where his attack and defense jump up tremendously, while also having his damage reduction rate for 3 turns, as well as having guard for 4 turns, as well as having that additional dodge when attacking. So it's very and then once you do that in the second slot, next turn you switch him back to the first, so that way you can keep up the damage reduction and the guard, and you just keep alternating slots as he continues to stack attack until you're ready to launch that active skill. So, I mean, in longer content, this is very easy to do because he can build up nice and easy, especially his attack, and his defense is usually enough to survive, even in things like Festival, all the way up to the Vegito phase. So he has a lot of tech there. His main teams, like the Pycon, are things like Mission Execution, Earth Red Fighters, or Earthlings, or DB Saga. Like, these are all great teams that can utilize him very, very effectively, and he is really, really powerful. So the question is, between him and Pycon, who is worth it? Well, I say it depends on the teams you have, right? If you have the setups to run Pycon, then Pycon is worth your 500 coins. If you have the setups to run Tien, i.e. you have his good partners, you have Tao, you have the, like if we just look at some of his partners, right? You have the Kid Goku, you have, you participate in World Tournament to get the Chi-Chi for the DB Saga play, and you can run him effectively, then yes, he is a great option to pick, probably better than Pycon. But Pycon you're probably going to get a little more niche use out of, especially if you want to run the hit setup, because he has a lot of tech in his attack and defense, lowering his dodge, and he is overall going to benefit a much wider variety of teams than Tien is. But they're both worth it, and the reality is, the thing was, it comes with yellow coins. You have to make a decision. Do you really want this character? Because here's the reality, like I mentioned with Goma, these guys don't come back very often. Goma, who is currently probably the best yellow coin LR in the game, will likely not be available for coins until April of next year, when we have the next yellow coin banner. Unless they randomly stick a new one in there that we haven't had before, expect to see him return for coins in April. These characters might show up on a carnival banner later on, but there's no guarantee that you'll pull them on that carnival banner. A great example is this, right? Guaranteed featured 7 steps. I didn't pull one of these guys on just this yellow coin banner that they're available on. So there's no guarantee you're going to pull them on the carnival banner. So when it comes to yellow coin, it really comes down to, do I want this character? Because the reality is, you're going to spend those 500 coins. They're very difficult to build up, and chances are by the time you get enough to purchase them, the unit may or may not have aged out by now. Waiting until April for Goma, there may be no guarantee that Goma is even usable past 11th anniversary. We have no way of knowing, and that's kind of the problem with the return rate on yellow coin LRs. But that's for another video. So again, my top recommendation is Tien. Overall, he's going to be the most powerful currently available. Otherwise, Pycon is a great choice, as he'll benefit quite a few teams, especially if you have the Tao hit set up. So, guys, that's it for the video. If you like the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, let us know Are you picking up Tien or Pycon with your yellow coins, or will you be waiting till April to spend your coins on Goma? Let us know in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and aloha.